Welcome back to Tech After Dark. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing and comparing the Sony WH-1000XM4s to the original XM3s. So we've got a back-to-back comparison and a review coming right up. So we can kind of just get right into the unboxing here, and this has already obviously been opened up and kind of tried out, tested through the ringer, and it just slides out here. So we just got a little slider, right? Just a little nice little box, kind of feels slippery, nice. Nothing like Apple's boxing, but you know, goes how it goes. And you've got just a little simple app, and that will just tell you, you know, what to install and set up from the get-go. And we have a nice little, well, we also have some documentation in here, but that's all kind of boring stuff. And we've got the good old hard kind of case for this XM4, and it's a tad different from the XM3 case. XM3 case right here on the left, and on the right, wherever kind of view you're watching here, is the XM4. So it looks a little newer, it looks a little better here. But the differences are pretty much the same, but the only difference would be obviously the bigger padding of the holder here. And you can actually put the zipper inside the actual holder where the strap is, and that actually almost protects it from like water in a weird way. So if you really throw this thing around, it's not going to be damaged. And yeah, the zipper itself is just a little more bronzed, but that's kind of the only differences between these two cases. Other than that, they really hold up and very durable. So if we kind of just unzip this up here, we can open the headphones. So the headphones itself, they come with a 3.5 millimeter headphone cable, and one is a little angled set to it. And we've got a nice little airplane adapter, and that one can be plugged in. You know, you don't have to hear the flight or anyone talking around you or any beeps or bops. And the headphones themselves, and they kind of curve in, so they're actually put into the whole case in kind of a slanted feature. So they're kind of placed like that, and you can carry them around, but they can be kind of twisted into each other. So if you really want it to be really nice and small, if you want to put it somewhere else, you can get it really closed down, and this all feels great. So the build quality of this XM4, it feels really great. They've done a really good job. There is not really much metal around the whole device. Obviously, you can find metal on the top parts, but I think that's kind of like a shined metal. That's just for accents, and those are on the XM3s as well. But all the button placements, there's just two buttons there. And yeah, the build quality itself, nice plush foamies ear pads, and a top ear pad as well. So everything here is super nice, and it's kind of a more maybe durable plastic, but you have to watch out for the right side. That can easily be broken, and ordering parts online isn't too great. You kind of have to spend like 30 bucks to replace this side of it, because the XM3 needs a replacement on this side. So ordering it, you can only kind of get it from broken XM3s or 4s, and that can be salvaged. But there is a Sony website that has parts, but a lot of it is out of stock, so it's kind of hard to find the parts that they do break. But if you take care of them and you just wear them on your head, put them back in the case, or just lay them down flat, I think they'll really last you quite a long time, as the XM3 is still kicking just with a little broken side piece to it. So that's kind of the build quality. And yeah, so everything about this is great. Onto the features of this. So this is fully noise cancellation headphones. This is probably the best in the business. The QC35-2s and now the QC45, they call it now, the brand new one. That one is, well, pretty comparable with this one because they both have Type-C and you can both kind of hear through. But yeah, both of these guys are really good at their noise canceling, and they both have a lot of experience in that field. And this boy has a really nice processor that's also running an algorithm to always kind of check the environment 700 times a second. So it's quite a lot. It's constantly checking. Very impressive, and it really does tone down the volume here. Like I have like heaters going, you know, sounds from refrigerators and you know, water heater, boilers, and all these little like machines kind of working away. And even voice can't really go through this too much, especially when you're watching or listening to content. It's like, it's hard to kind of hear it. And even if you snap your fingers or clap, it's super hard to kind of listen to that top end. And they've got a really good job with the mid and the highs from the XM3s, and they've done a great job here. But yeah, everything else is pretty much the same. It has a custom button so you can change between the ambient modes, off or noise canceling, and you can change that up to like a Google Assistant button or anything else you'd like. And you also have a optimizer mode, and that optimizer mode, you can tap and hold the custom button on either the XM3 or XM4, and that will basically just change the way your hair is, or your glasses, or anything to do with your head of your shape. You can kind of optimize the pressure and make sure that you have the best fit possible for a unique head size. So I've found that noise canceling in other headphones, like the Beats, sometimes over time, the Beats Studio, that one kind of almost didn't give me a headache, but it kind of made me a little like airy or something like that. It just didn't feel right to me, where this one can really just be on your face for a very long time. And I've gone many weeks with these things and trying to review them and test them out for you guys, and I found like no issue, and I've been swapping between them both, and they both have this feature, and they're both updated to the newest firmware, and they both get all the updates. So they've done a really good job of kind of like isolating you, and you don't feel like you're underwater as much as you know feel than the other first gen noise canceling headphones. Yeah, they're pretty sweet. And this one also has a inbuilt kind of sensor to detect if you have your headphones off or on your head, so they can kind of pause and play your music. And this also acts as a way to disable the headphones or turn them off after you're done using them. So at a certain set of time, I kind of knows kind of when I'm not using them anymore, but through the phone or the computer, if I take them off after a few minutes or so, it'll turn off, because noise canceling takes a lot of battery. But yeah, the battery on these things, 30 hours on the XM4s, and yeah, they support quick charge and the whole 9. So you're gonna be pretty much having these for like 2-3 days, maybe up like a week. I've had like almost a week because I don't blast the volume, and I have noise canceling turned on like fully. And you might get an extra day if you turn off noise canceling, but I wouldn't recommend that, as you bought the headphones for a reason, for a pretty good price. And yeah, so these bad boys, they retail at $349 Canadian, and you can get the XM3s for $299 Canadian. And so I'll display the USD prices as well. But for Black Friday and any time of the year when you're trying to save some money and you try to find the deals, $50 more for the XM4s I think is worth it. But the differences are pretty interesting. There is quite a few. Another functionality of this one is that you can speak to chat. So you could just start talking, and this thing will immediately start turning on ambient mode so you can hear the other person. And in the app, you can actually say listen to voice. so they can actually focus on your voice and make sure the other people talking are going through, but nothing else. So it can actually detect the voices, which is really awesome. Very nice to have. And there is also an NFC tap, so the Androids can kind of like tap on the headphones, can connect instantly. Really nice to have. I have an iPhone, so I don't really use that feature. But this bad boy actually supports 2 devices. So 2 devices, you can have both of them connected up to your phone or your computer back and forth. And if a call comes in, you can pick it up. And sometimes this is all kind of marketing, and I've been using it for a bit and it only works so well. I've had it, I just connect to a simple like 4.0 Bluetooth system. This is Bluetooth 5.0, and you can kind of connect back and forth. But with the phone, when you have it on your head and it's calling, it will eventually switch. But I've almost found like once I answer and I'm talking, I can't actually hear through the headphones until like a few seconds later, and it's sometimes a little annoying. So I'm only kind of constantly going into the system and making sure that it is switched to this device after you answer a phone call. You can just go to the speaker and switch. But I think maybe with more updates or something, maybe that can be resolved. But even going through audio, it's not really like a 1-button click to switch between. So if I need to go to the washroom quick and I have a phone with me and I want to just chill out, take the phone, it doesn't really switch as much as I'd like, and you almost have to disable the Bluetooth on the computer or vice versa. I don't know if it's like Windows 11 or Windows 10 that's really grabbing onto that Bluetooth and won't let it go. But the 2 devices are connected technically. I can see them in the device, but once I play it on the iPhone, it just won't play for me. So it's more of a manual disconnect the Bluetooth on this side and then connect it on that side. So like 2 devices, it's the thing for calling mostly. I wouldn't look at it any other way because you still have to fiddle with it. And I don't know if this, like Android has this problem as well. That might be perfect for that side of things. But for this device, 2 devices is not too great. Like it's just manageably better, marginally better. And so yeah, the XM3s only has 1 device, which is fine. And that is kind of more of a, you know what you're getting into, and you can even still change your settings while you're connected to your desktop or whatever. So you can still change settings on your phone, which is great. And I can actually go onto the phone and I can actually record like a little video of going through the settings, but you can kind of change all the options over and go through them, and it has really interesting sliders that you can adjust. I'll adjust the EQ, the sound control. You can control the noise canceling, so it's only half. So if you're like at an airport and you're listening to the boarding, you can kind of like focus on that. And yeah, it's super, really quite in depth. Another big difference we could just start comparing with the XM3s is that the beeps and bops inside the headphones, as you call them, they're kind of like a beep and a bop. They're comparable, right? But the actual headphones, they are more, the XM4s, they're a softer beep, where the XM3s are kind of like almost an annoying beep, and you can kind of like, might get annoyed after a while, where these are a little more quieter and not as harsh. Kind of like going from Windows 10 sounds to Windows 11, where everything is a little more theatrical or almost musical, I guess you'd say. But yeah, even the voice is a little more like HD inside of these headphones, where the XM3s are kind of like muffled a little bit. Like they'll tell you what's going on, noise cancellation mode, optimizer on or whatever. But these are like optimized, like a better quality sound inside. I don't know if this is paired to like some type of memory or something inside of these headphones, but I'm sure Sony could have like updated the XM3s with this better voice and beeps. Like it's all just software in the end, I think. And aside from that, like the sound of these 2 devices, they're very comparable. I've tried to switch between the 2 and it's so minimal. These have more bass, like you can kind of tell with that. And the clamp of both, this one clamps a little harder. So if you're sensitive to the clamp, or the claw as they say, then you would really kind of maybe go to the XM3s, but the XM4s are just slightly more tighter. So you have a better noise cancellation, a better fit, but really the sound is so negligible, and you can go through the EQ and bump up the bass if you'd like. So yeah, these sound a bit better, like marginally. I mean, a few years difference, they better sound a bit better, and the noise canceling should be better and all that, and the algorithms. But the difference between the two is just like, is almost just, yeah, just very negligible. Like they're both like about the same weight, you know, maybe they smeared off like a couple grams. But yeah, even these ones are like quite a few years old, and I can like really say that these like have really held up. And yeah, like ear pads, you can find them online for super cheap, $5, $10, $15. Swap them out. They're just a clip-on, so the repair on the ear pads are great. Maybe the battery and such might be a bit of a, you know, more of a chore to replace. But yeah, like these guys, they're great. They're obviously this side is broken, but I'll probably just order a part and replace that. But there will be videos online with that. But yeah, the differences are really small. You can kind of like look inside and kind of see like, oh, there's a little more refinement here, less hard edges here or there. But both are like great. They're both last for 30 hours. They're both, you know, tip-top shape. But I would say like buy these for $50 more. Like, you know, you're gonna like kind of like enjoy these. And they're 5.0, Bluetooth 5.0 compatible, and they have better sound. And yeah, like they have like, they say like, oh, a bit, you know, memory foam was a bit better and this and that, but it's like super small. Like you won't notice it too much. And yeah, so the touch controls here. So both kind of use like a touch control to adjust the volume or skip tracks. We can tap and hold. The XM4 has one more feature for the tap than the XM3s, is the speak to chat. So you can actually hold 2, 3, 4 fingers. If you hold too much, then it will actually enable the talk through mode. But if you tap and hold with 2 fingers or 3, you can actually enable or disable speak to chat, which is really annoying because if you cough, you'll just instantly start just like going into the ambient mode, and you don't really want that, right? So you can disable it when you need to or want to, and if you want, you can actually adjust the sensitivity. So I adjust it to lower, and it doesn't detect my coughs as I'm talking to someone as much as I'd like, because as a man, coughing becomes more apparent as you grow older. So you can disable that instantly and have a high sensitivity. So if you have a, you know, a quieter voice, it will activate a little better. But I find like XM4, you can just put your whole palm on the back of this thing, and you can start talking to someone instantly. Where the XM3 is like a good second where it changes, and a good second going back into noise canceling, where these ones are like pretty instant, and obviously the beep is super pleasant. But yeah, so yeah, everything about this. And the weird thing with these, they don't have like an actually inline mic inside. It just has the 3.5mm headphone jack, and I'm glad they've added this feature because you can, you know, play this on the PS5, which is so super sweet, and you can have noise canceling on and all that, which is awesome. But they didn't add a third pole for the mic, so you can't really connect up a mic like through the, you know, the digital way, analog. And so that's like kind of a missing feature that they could have maybe added and used the mic array. And obviously the mic array is better on these XM4s and the 3s. And I've had no problems with both, but you might hear, the other person might hear you a bit better on these bad boys. And yeah, so yeah, I think that everything about this device is pretty sweet. It's all overall really nice. Even just the small details between the two generations there. Just even like the USB Type-C is a little out this year rather than in. Like they just adjust tiny little things, and this is what Sony's been doing for the last quite a bit here. They've been really refining on their devices and making an ecosystem, as everybody and every company loves to make. But yeah, everything about this thing is pretty sweet, and I would really highly recommend just picking this up for $350 as a steal for Black Friday and all that, because there's so many deals out there. But this one you'll be really happy with, and the app works pretty good too, and it's just like, you know, it's all about what works better for you. The one thing that this one doesn't have than the XM3s, it doesn't have aptX or aptX HD. That's the one feature they took out of these guys. Bluetooth 5 might have just have everything in there, and it's maybe a bit better on that side of things where the audio might be better, and the sound quality might be better on those Android devices. Or if you get a better Bluetooth USB adapter, then you might be able to actually use that feature. I don't know if it has aptX low latency. That feature was listed on the XM3s, but with these, you don't have any aptX features on this. You just have the regular LDAC, AP, or SBC, which is the regular, and the AAC for Apple. So you just have the regular 3 formats on these guys. So this kind of streamlined it. But yeah, if you wanted a bit better quality sound, like, yeah, I don't think you'd ever notice the difference too much, because they're still wireless, and you can go up to 40,000 frequency response, which is great. But yeah, these guys have 40mm headphone drivers, so they're, you know, they're working up a storm, but you can only get so good on these guys. But obviously there's still little touches they can do. They can maybe add like 2 audio support device streaming, because like Apple can kind of like pair the MacBook back and forth, and you can kind of like listen to audio on one device and switch to another. That's through Apple ID and stuff. But it's hard when all the ecosystems are not like super open and they're more closed. So it's hard to play audio through like kind of 2 channels, or if you want to switch, it should be a bit easier. And I don't know if they're using a different Bluetooth, but yeah, I'm trying to order a newer Bluetooth 5 so I could do like a follow-up, you know, kind of review on the XM3s to kind of see like, you know, if that's better on the audio side or the XM4s. But it's kind of more of a, yeah, it works great on your PC. You'll never have a dropout. Like, I've never had dropouts on these bad boys, and everything is pretty awesome with these. And like, I think you'd be really happy with this purchase. And if you want to buy, you know, someone else like a gift like this, like, these are pretty screaming good headphones. When like Apple is charging, you know, an arm and a leg for those noise canceling, these are look like a pretty awesome value and bargain. And they're actually quite light as well. And I, you know, even wearing a hat, glasses, like, you won't have too much of an issue with there, and it kind of fits all ear sizes as well, because they are closed back headphones. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I think that's everything about the Sony WH-1000XM4s. And yeah, awesome little pair of headphones, and just make sure that you get these on a steal for a steal of a price. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.